very beautiful afternoon to everybody watching us. We say good afternoon to all our viewers across board, all over where you are watching us. It's another episode of Sport Arena brought to your face this afternoon. As your regular host, we always have our normal guest that we dwell into whatever that might have occurred all over the weekend across the continent. Talk of Spanish La Liga, talk of English Premier League, talk of Serie A in the Italy, talk of Edivis in Holland. Welcome to Newsbuster Sport Arena. Very good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You are looking good this afternoon.
Well, it's good to be good, and the weather as a whole is not helping matters. Well, we thank God here Charlie will be finally laid to rest and football can continue as usual. Because of the death, football have been postponed in England. Although last weekend some matches were played, while some were still postponed. We saw what happened between Man City and Wolverhampton.
That's interesting.
Wolverhampton during Espirito Santos was a team that always give Man City and his Pep Guardiola and his Man City team a run for their money. But on Saturday, Man City went all the way out to the Wolverhampton den and trashed them 3-0.
But believe you me, there's a lot of speculation going around the corner on before that match that there is no possibility that Man City will travel all the way from Etihad to Wolves to defeat them. Reason being that the newly acquired Diego Costa, the giant of the former Chelsea striker, being at that front of Wolves, that it will be more that easier. But unfortunately, at the end of the match, we saw 3-0. How come?
Diego Costa is a striker, not a playmaker. And a striker will only score the ball that is laid in front of him. As for Man City this season is not a team to be joked with. As for now, Man City is still the only team that have not lost a match, although they've played a draw. But it shows that they are on
The
course.
track.
Yeah.
And that also draws my attention to an impressive turnout and the impressive outcome of Tottenham versus Leicester City. 5-0.
Tottenham Leicester City match any day will be a fan delight. For one, Tottenham on top of his game with Anthony Conte performing the wonders and the magic. We've seen all why Tottenham has been playing. The focus line have not been what it is today, especially during the time of Pochettino. They tried their best and they got to the final of the Champions League for the very first time and they lost to Liverpool.
But surprisingly, if you could
But
recall
today,
vividly, Leicester has not been performing very well.
Leicester, since the starting of the season, have not won a match. They've played 7 matches on Saturday. They've not won any. They draw 1 and lost 5, which placed them at the bottom of the table for now. And at the same time, putting Brendan Rodgers on a tight corner and a tight rope.
Is he working under pressure?
For now, he's under pressure because some other teams that were under pressure, like Everton, Aston Villa is under Gerrard. It's not really performing the way it is as when Roger just took over and turned around the fortune of Aston Villa. It's not the same thing. So Rogers is on the same pedestrian, but the worst part of Leicester's own is they sold their keeper that have been the rock at the back.
And on
Although
this
not
note,
that they sold it, he
yes.
decided to change a team after so many years in Leicester, and that alone is affecting them too.
And going by the statistics of that game, looking at the both team, Leicester Tottenham, they played very well. But they're very unlucky for Leicester. Because I could see no reason why Son having 3 hat-trick in that match. And
Son,
that's so impressive.
at the beginning of this season, Son have not really started much for Leicester. And before that match, Conte really had to sit him down and talk to him that if he really wants to be part of the Tottenham team, he should start the wonders and magic that he's known for. And behold, he started the match and an hat-trick come out.
Despite the fact that we were being substituted by another person. And
It shows
that's
that
so
he wants to
impressive.
make
That's so
his time, he
impressive.
wants to make his mark in the list of player in Tottenham.
And on this note, I say kudos to you. Son, you really made the Tottenham Hotspur proud at the White Hart Lane Field in
Yes.
England. No, that's so impressive. Also, draws my attention to Arsenal. Arsenal Brentford. What can you say about Arsenal? Arsenal is also impressive. 6 games now, aside from the one defeated by the Manchester United, Arsenal have been on the top of the league.
Arsenal, on the starting of the league, played 4 matches, win 4. The fifth one was against Man U, which they lost. And that one really kind of a setback to them. But that still put them on top of the table. On Saturday, that Man City played before Arsenal, and that makes Man City won and move ahead of Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Arsenal could not afford to stay behind. Like I do tell people, the earlier you gather your points, the better for you, because you have 39 matches to play in the league. Along the line, you play the FA Cup. If that is in England, along the line, you play the Charity League Cup.
Yes.
So that kind of make it so tedious in a week. There are weeks that you need to play 2 matches, or be that as it may, 3 matches. So by the time you've started playing up to 15, 20 matches, the fatigue will start coming in, coupled with the injuries. So if you can't gather your point at this early stage, you end up having issues towards the end of this. If you look at the trend, you will see that it's not the people that started on top maintain it to the end. Just like last year, there were teams that we felt and see that they were going to relegation, but towards the tail end,
Yes, yes.
they
I
picked up their
recall.
rhythm.
In the lives of Newcastle.
They picked up their rhythm, and before you know it, they escaped themselves out of the
Even
relegation.
Everton was so lucky
Everton
enough.
was lucky enough. Newcastle was lucky enough, and 2 other teams were lucky enough. So that's how it looks like. That the earlier, the better you gather your points,
And
so
that
that when the
also
fatigue
draws my
comes in,
attention to the giants of England, the pride of London, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea was so, in fact, a lot of Chelsea fans was like jubilating, rejoicing for the postponement ahead of Liverpool match. Why is it like that? Why Chelsea is scoring nowadays?
Rejoicing or being happy about the postponement is like extending the doomsday.
Why the
Liverpool,
doomsday?
Liverpool as it is now, is not really performing like the Liverpool we know 2-3 years ago. Maybe because some player, to me, I don't
Reshufflement of
really see
players?
any much changes in that Liverpool team apart from Sadio Mane that left. Then which other guy left? Lalana has left before
Sadio Mane.
Mane. But if you really look at the Liverpool team, the person that is really felt much is Mane.
Yes. Because of that, they're forward combination of Sadio Mane
Mane,
and
Firmino
Firmino and what's it
Mo
called?
Salah
Yes,
was so
Mohamed Salah.
fantastic. If you look at that combination were a combination that produced a lot of goals in
Exactly.
between the three of them.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But looking at Chelsea side, following the trend of what they played against, it was Salzburg
Chelsea,
in the
the
UEFA Champions League, having
yeah,
1-1 draw
yeah.
at the end of 90 minutes. Are you saying the formation they are using 3-4-3 is not good enough?
It's not about being good enough. Every coach have his own style. Potter is trying to bring up his own style, and I believe that style is what he used in Brighton that gives him the result that warranted him being the coach of Chelsea today. And on the other hand, Brighton have just appointed a new coach to replace him too. But looking at it, Chelsea team is being overhauled. The management is being overhauled. The ownership just turned on from Roman Abramovich to Todd Pedder.
And if
So,
you also recall,
the new
when
ownership now wants to put in its own style of things. And like I said last week, that the sacking of Thomas Tuchel is very, 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 very too early.
too early.
Yes.
But looking at his performance towards his that sacked, let me put it that way. If you could look, Chelsea has not been performing as is expected compared to Chelsea of the past, like what we normally see in the like of Frank Lampard
You see,
Mike Balak.
like I said there, that the change of ownership have affected so many things in Chelsea. If you look at it, the moment the ownership change and so many things happen in Chelsea, the backroom staff too left one by one. The sporting director left, although as of today, it's like they've appointed somebody else. Somebody is on the line to become the new
The sports director from
sport
Salzburg.
from.
Yes.
So that alone have affected the playing and pattern of things. Like every coach has a style. You get to the pitch, you have your trainer, you just give instruction, you have your physical person, your
And to
therapist.
me, if I may
So all those
say,
things have been changed in Chelsea. New hands, new faces, new idea. So before those new idea will be
we
able
integrate.
and integrate in between themselves, it will take them a little time. For now, it's just 7 matches that have been played.
Yes.
6 matches for Chelsea, costing cost, cost
Courtesy of
of the
the
postponement.
postponement of the.
And like this year league or this year season is going to be divided into parts in the sense that by November the World Cup will come.
Yes.
And the World Cup have never been played in November. If not that it went to the Asia, and like the Qatar people will say, that during the June, July, that is normally summer in
Yes.
Europe,
In
that
Europe.
during that period, the type of rain they have is not something anybody can withstand. As that it is, the November they've taken it to, this is when they have their hot period.
Wow.
So for this very reason, you discover that there are some stadia in Qatar that build with AC. So you be
So as to
Qatar
reduce the temperature.
to reduce the temperature. And Qatar, as it is, the money is there. So they can perform wonders and miracles.
Wow.
As part of the wonders and miracle in this year's football Mundial final, we are having a container stadium that have
And that's so impressive also. And
that
before
have
we
been set
quickly
up.
left
And
that
that
Chelsea,
container stadium that
yes.
let's say is after the World Cup,
Mm.
they will dismantle it and bring it to one of the African countries
Wow.
to promote football in Africa.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I can't just wait to see the
And I
before
will have loved as
the
an
dawn will be
African
doing
and
it
as
in
a
my presence.
Nigerian, I will have loved it
But
to be
all
in
before we
Nigeria.
left to the another league, before we quickly close down that Premier League, Chelsea did the same. This Graham Potter did the same thing Thomas Tuchel did. when he matched, immediately the sack of Frank Lampard. He also played draw against Wolves, if you could recall very well.
Yes.
And now Red Bull Salzburg also took off from Chelsea now, playing draw.
Draw.
Is it not the same pattern, the same formation Porter and Thomas Tuchel are playing?
Not the same pattern. If you look at Thomas Tuchel's formation, you discover that the last four were four. Unlike this one is making you of three.
Now it's 3-4-3.
Yes. So definitely Porter wants to have a match that it's soaked with midfielder. And like they said, if you have a good midfield, you control the game.
And honestly, I must tell you that Newcastle are also doing fantastic well in the English Premier League this season as they play 1-1 draw with Bournemouth. What can you say about that game?
Well, that 1-1 draw is a disappointment to Newcastle because the fans expected the team to have won the match. But unfortunately, Bournemouth didn't give them that space.
That space.
And the reason is Bournemouth happens to be the first team to sack his coach. They are having a new coach, and that new coach wants to stamp his feet and his authority on the team by performing to showcase or to prove that he knows what he can do. That's why he was appointed.
And on this note, I say kudos to you, Alex Iwobi, for doing fantastically well in the Everton Football FC. In fact, Frank Lampard was so impressive, was so harmonious to an extent whereby he couldn't hide that feelings to say, oh no, Iwobi deserve an applause.
He will be with Everton at the starting of this season. Their first match was against Chelsea, which they lost by 1-0.
1-0 to nil, yes.
Courtesy of a penalty.
Yes.
But after that match, despite the fact that they lost, look at the praises Frank Lampard helped on Iwobi for controlling the midfield. Don't forget that Iwobi
He's a tiki-taka. And he has the tactics.
From a family of footballers. His cousin, J.J. Okocha, nobody in Nigeria except somebody that is born yesterday. Even if somebody that is born yesterday will have seen some of the dribbles.
I agree with you.
JJ.
And that also draws my attention to, aside from the English Premier League, going to another set of what have happened in the Hero. The almighty people are falling. Almighty clubs are falling.
Last weekend was the kind of thing we say how the mighty has fallen. Because in Germany, the almighty Bayern Munich failed to live up to expectations.
That's so annoying. And going through the trend of what they performed against
in Italy,
Barcelona in their previous Champions League.
Juve was beaten by Monza 1-0. Even AC Milan were trash at the San Siro
against Napoli. That's bad.
The weekend was not even including Scotland. Celtic were defeated.
Celtic
was defeated 2-0.
The king of Scotland.
Yes, over the weekend. So it's like last weekend was the kind of the mighty teams were beaten, black and blue.
Wow. The mighty teams were beaten. Wow. That also takes me to the Spanish La Liga, where we have the big El Clasico happening between the two lions of the derby, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid.
The Madrid derby is always something everybody looks forward to. And this year, we've seen that Atletico Madrid, ATM, is not performing the way it is. And like I will say, when something have overstayed, the zeal is no longer there. I'm not calling for the sack of Diego Simeone, but to me, I feel he have overstayed.
In Atletico Madrid.
He should look for another challenges with another team.
But do you agree with me that immediately after that match yesterday, there was a pronouncement saying of the Real Madrid that they didn't nearly need Mbappe again in Madrid Football Club
With what Vinicius Junior is doing, I don't think they will need an Mbappe.
and Rodrigo.
You see, Real Madrid happens to be a team that, from the onset, we know them to be a team that they will just look for one player in a season, they grab it. Right from when they got Figo, they got Zidane, they got Ronaldo de Lima. Let's even let's leave Ronaldo de Lima out of it and uh, Zidane. Let's talk about Figo. Figo was a player of Barcelona, and
Then,
when he left Barcelona, he moved to Real Madrid. And his first match in Real Madrid against Barcelona, he was stoned,
hmm,
and they have to ask him to leave the pitch because Barcelona looked at Real Madrid as their enemy, that
as
have not
rival.
as rival, that have not allowed them to become that popular team the whole world wanted them to be. So for that, it's a tough battle seeing a player of Barcelona moving to
But
Real
looking at
Madrid.
what the present performance of Vinicius Junior nowadays, compare with Rodrigo, those guys has been very fantastic in that forward, despite the absence of Karim Benzema
You see, Ancelotti was a former player
and a world-class coach
and a world-class player for that matter, who has won the Champions League as a player and also done it as
as
a
a
coach,
coach.
not with one team, but with two teams. So that knowledge is there. He knows what he wants, he knows what he can do. Before rejoining back Madrid, he was in Everton.
Yes,
There is something they saw in him to bring him back.
he has that potential.
He was there before, he was sacked, and Mourinho was brought in. Mourinho was sacked, and Zidane took over. Then later Zidane left, and now Ancelotti is back, performing the miracle and the wonders he knows how to do as a former player. So somebody that have played to the highest peak, and now as a coach, he knows what to do. You give it to Ancelotti, is a top class coach.
As it is rated now, seeing the performance of the Real Madrid presently as we speak, are you saying they are going to collect the Champions League again?
Well, I won't stick my neck on that because football in 90 minutes, 2 minutes can make a difference.
But the ball yesterday, the match was so fantastic to an extent. There is a lot of atrocities on the field, fighting each other, commenting on the
You see, one
referee.
funny thing is this: when you played an Atletico Madrid team, you always have things to complain about.
Why is it like that always?
I won't say, but like I grew up watching Diego Simone play as a defensive midfielder. He was always so brutal.
Then, in the likes of
Then,
Gattuso,
so today, him being a coach, you wonder how his defense team would look like.
it looks like so aggressive,
So
so
aggressive. Even
aggressive.
when he's at the touchline as the coach, he's always so aggressive. He doesn't smile. He's
Hmm,
always on the run.
hmm.
He's the coach that will always, before the referee will blow, he has run away.
And on this note,
So
I say kudos
he
to you
knows what
guys.
he's doing.
You Real Madrid. Real Madrid makes Spanish La Liga proud yesterday,
Yes.
despite the absence of Karim Benzema.
Benzema.
They lifted that 3 points out of Atletico Madrid yesterday,
Atletico,
despite a lot of
Real
obstacles.
Madrid could have not afford to draw because, as it is in the Spanish league, after Barca match on Saturday with a 3-0 win over Eche, there was nothing less for Madrid to do than to win, so that they can move back to the
And
top of
I
the
must
table.
also commend at this point commend Savi for his fantastic doing job well done.
Xavi is a coach that I feel wants to follow the step of
He's a dynamic coach.
Pep Guardiola. After spending his entire career in
In Barcelona.
Barcelona and now moved to Qatar, played for 2-3 seasons, becoming a coach in Qatar. He started his coaching career in Qatar, and Barcelona now requested for him. That's why the fact that the Qatar club was not ready to part way with him. But looking at it, his boyhood club is as a very little boy.
Very little boy there.
So he felt he has something at stake
To give out.
to give out. So he could have not afford to do otherwise than what you are seeing in Barcelona.
But looking at Barcelona Champions League against Bayern Munich, it was so horrible to some extent.
To some extent, because they met a superior firepower. This is not the first time Real
That's
Madrid
an underlying statement to me. Superior fire power.
This is not the first time Madrid will be Bayern Munich will be beating them. Some 3-4 years back,
In the lives of Lionel Messi, when he
even
was still
when
there.
there, Bayern beat them 8-2.
8-2, I recall.
And nobody could till today still believe that with Messi in that team, they could have been beaten like that. 8-2.
Wow, wow.
So
wow.
Bayern Munich is not a team you can toy with, despite the fact that they had a rough weekend by losing 1-0 to Augsburg. And like I was telling somebody, I said, the moment I saw that feature and I knew something came to my mind, I said, this Augsburg, they defeated Bayern Munich last year.
Yes.
I believe what happened last year will not repeat itself.
But for Xavi to say all Barcelona fans should follow them to San Siro against Inter Milan ahead of the second leg of the matches between them and Inter Milan.
Yeah.
In the next coming Champions League. What does that have to do with the players?
You see, the fans or supporters have a lot to do with what is going on in the pitch. Let's put it in this Nigerian scenario. Let's look at Atlanta 96, where Brazil was leading Nigeria.
3-0 down.
3-0 down. Okay, 3-1 down. 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. Then the match was played, and all Nigerians that were in US, in Atlanta, team up with the
Mobilize
themselves and team up with the Nigerian supporters club, and look at the stadium, the singing, the drumming, the dancing, and the president general conducting kind of morale boosting for the player. And you saw what happened.
I agree with you.
So the fans, supporters have a lot to do. Going to San Siro is like they are going to their enemies' den. And there in San Siro, the fans there will overshadow them. So they too want their own fans to make a trip to Italy so that they can have a kind of balance. So that the fans in San Siro, Inter Milan's fans, and in San Siro is used by Inter Milan and AC Milan. So definitely, if AC Milan is not playing, some AC Milan's fans will join the Inter Milan fans at the San Siro.
And that also draws my attention to the recent concluded Monza against Inter Milan. Monza trashed.
No, Inter Milan, Monza against Juventus.
Against Juventus was trashed down. That's 1-0. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
That was 1-0. No. A lot of things happened over the weekend.
Like that match, Angel Di Maria messed up Juve's chances.
By not
by
converting some balls to
ball
goal.
to go, and later on getting a red card, which reduced them to 9 players on the pitch,
Wow.
which
Wow.
later gave
Wow. The
Hope
Monza side.
a
An
little
overhedge
advantage over
advantage. Wow.
Juventus.
Wow. Wow.
And like he has apologized that the fans should forgive him for
For that
the
mistakes.
mistakes he did. I believe the fans will forgive him. But looking at that, Juve is not really doing well because before that match,
They lost against Benfica in the
they
UEFA
played
Champions League.
against Benfica
That's 2-1.
at that same Turin, and Benfica beat them 2-1. So it's like in that Turin, they've lost.
2 matches
Okay,
consecutively.
they lost against Benfica in Turin. Then they went to Monza to play, and Monza beat them 1-0. So it shows that the defeat against Benfica is not a lesson for them to ginger up. And if you look at it, Algeri, the coach, is not really performing
Wow.
wonders the way it is. That's why the fact that there's a Pogba in that team, there's Angel Di Maria in that team. Look, talking about Pogba, Pogba is injured, and as it is, he might not be part of the World Cup team for
Exactly.
France, according to the reports monitored this morning that Didier Deschamps, the coach of France national team, have given out a message to Pogba that if he wants to be part of the World Cup team, he should buckle up himself and get in time and be fit for the match.
And that also
If
leads
not
me
for
to
that,
AC Milan Napoli. That
AC,
was a tug of war last night. It
AC
wasn't
Milan
easy.
Napoli is a game any day, anytime I catch now. So AC Milan at San Siro against
Hmm.
Napoli. And Napoli is the hot cake in Italy for now.
Believe me, that first half was ended draw. So goalless. To come back in the next 45 minutes for the second half, I see that the goals was just entering as if it was a basketball, which later ended 2-1
Yeah. You see, Napoli
in
is a
favor of
team.
Napoli.
Napoli is a team that is on course. Midweek, they played Almighty
AC
is
Milan.
no in the Champions League.
Okay, in the Champions
Champions
League,
League.
they played Liverpool recently.
They played their first match was against Liverpool, which they
4-1.
won. They won. Then the second match was against
Who?
I've forgotten the team they played with.
They also won.
They won.
They won.
Rangers. They played with
Rangers.
Rangers and
They
they
won.
won.
They won Rangers. I am
So
aware.
Napoli and Bayern Munich happens to be Napoli, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid happens to be the three teams I know in their 2 matches have gotten 6 points.
Despite the absence of Osimhen,
Yes,
our almighty Osimhen,
Osimhen.
that wasn't there.
Osimhen was not there, but as
Wow.
it is, Arabian Osimhen was there, we will be talking of something else because we've seen the fastness and sharpness of Osimhen in recent time, and that alone, I'm giving it to him that come this weekend that Nigeria is playing a grade one friendly match against the Desert Warrior of Algeria, Desert Foxes of Algeria. Osimhen will be in town to add glamour to the Nigerian team. Although the match will be played in Oran, in
All right.
Algeria.
Wow. Wow.
I don't see, because normally we don't normally get to the North African to get a nice play. We all know the antics of the North African team. Although
Exactly.
like this one is a friendly match,
It's a
but
friendly match. Yes.
I
Yes.
don't expect anything less than a draw or 1 or
1-0
2-0.
in favor of our country, Nigeria, green, white,
I
green.
won't say our country, Nigeria, because the situation right now in the Nigerian FA is not something we should be proud of.
Wow. Wow. And that also
The
draws my attention to the Netherlands Eredivisie Football League. Why with Harvey Zedakman trashing the whole giant of Holland, Ajax, 2-1.
AZ Agma is not a team to be toyed with. They are one of those teams that gave Ajax a run for their money. In Holland, we have Feyenoord, PSG, PSV Eindhoven, and AZ Alkmaar. Before it used to be Ajax, Feyenoord, and PSV.
And PSV also trashed Feyenoord.
Feyenoord
4-3.
3. So
4-3.
AZ Alkmaar have been able to smuggle himself into that lineup to make it look like they are one of the top teams to be reckoned with in Holland.
But looking at Ajax performance, is it because they sold the players outside to some
Ajax is
other
not
clubs,
disturbed
some
by the
other
sale
clubs
of
that
their
makes them to be
player.
so that reluctant and
One funny thing with Ajax team is Ajax team happens to be Ajax Football Club happens to be a team that have a very good youthful foundation for young players. It's only Ajax is one of the teams that you will see that in a lineup of 11, the eldest person in that team will be 24 years, 25 years, while the remaining one will be 19, 18, 17.
forgetting the fact that experience counts in football.
Experience counts in football, but Ajax have this tradition. Let me take you back to 1995 when Ajax won the Champions League. Ajax has a set of players that were very good. The likes of
Our Nnamdi Kanu,
uh,
our
Edgar
Kanu,
Davids,
yes, Kanu was
Seedorf.
among them.
Kanu was in their youth team.
Then
But what happened was the likes of Davids, Seedorf, and their star player got injured. And they now brought Kanu and Patrick
Nwankwo,
Clever from their youth team, under 16 team, to the national team. And when they came in, they started performing wonders. They took the team up to the final. And the coach was kind of
exciting,
exciting. If these young boys, this young lad
could
can,
perform to this extent.
he didn't need the older player again. It stick to the younger ones. And what did he get? He got the Champions League, beating AC Milan.
Hmm.
They were in the same group. They met 3 times in the process of getting the Champions League. And like AC Milan surrendered, they said, "You are really a team. You beat us at San Siro. You beat us at Amsterdam. And at the final, on a neutral ground,
You
you
still
still
met again.
and you still give it to us." So that means you have that strong team. Look at it. Ajax have a setup for their youthful team,
If I'm
which
not mistaken, that means you are trying to say that Ajax now emulates that set of age range
yes,
ever since they
since
won the UEFA Champions
Champions
League
League
in 1995.
5.
Forgetting the fact that okay, we also have Bundesliga. That Bundesliga, we have Wolfsburg playing on Bayern Munich, plays 1-0 in favor of Wolfsburg.
Well, yes,
Borussia
we
Dortmund
won.
trashed Schalke
Only
4
for
4-0.
1-0.
1-0,
Yeah.
yes. Borussia Mönchengladbach trashed
So,
RB Leipzig 3-0.
RB Leipzig
RB Leipzig nowadays,
is,
it
you
seems they
see,
are
when they first came up, RB Leipzig, FRM, they were a team that was handled by a coach that were not up to 32 years. Take, for example, Everton had a coach that was 29 years. And the player, apart from one other player that was about 30 years or 32, that senior the coach, the other ones were younger players.
wow.
And they have maintained that for the past 3-4 years. To me, it looks like fatigue is coming into RB Leipzig for them to be trashed 3-0.
Because
And
that's not the usual RB
if you can still
Leipzig.
remember vividly that in the midweek of the Champions League, they
Yes.
also lost.
They lost. Yes, I recall.
So 2 losses back to back is not a good thing for a team that wants to take the champions, that wants to be crowned as the German champion. And that alone have given way. For now, in the German league, we have Union Berlin on top.
Yes, 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 yes.
Bayern Munich is somewhere around fourth or
For,
fifth,
no, sixth to seventh.
seventh. So it shows
And in
that
the light of Bayer Leverkusen,
although
I must say
I
kudos to
won't say
them.
that that's the how the result is going to end, because I trust Bayern Munich. This is how they normally start, but getting to the end, they picked up their rhythm and They always, and that has given them 7 or 8 titles in a row,
Wow.
which is not, which can't happen in any other league
League.
apart from, we only have that in Germany and in France, where PSG and Paris Saint-Germain have taken over the control of.
It wasn't a surprise to me when Paris Saint-Germain took over Lyon
Mm,
yesterday and trashed them down with a
1-0.
1 goal to 0.
Yeah, you see, like that match, Lyon is a team that scored very well. And Lyon meeting Paris Saint-Germain in Lyon was a match that everybody looks forward to. But PSG still show the superior power, that they have the likes of Messi,
Lionel Messi,
and they have Mbappe, and they
Mbappe,
have Neymar,
Neymar.
which is their
Yes.
top 3 in front.
Not even
And
forgetting the fact that the Germans, the Lion machine is there at the
at the
back.
back. So
Well, that's in the likes
in
of
a team
Sergio Ramos
in a team that have a forward 3 of Mbappe, Neymar, and
and
Messi,
Messi.
and
They have it all.
Messi is somebody that
At
when he
any point
holds
in
the
time,
ball, is somebody that can dribble around 5 players
at a go.
at a go. And Mbappe is a player that anywhere he is, he knows where the net
Very dynamic in nature.
is, and any ball you give him, even with his eye
He always
closed,
tries to utilize
he
chances.
knows that the ball is going towards the goal post. And Neymar on his part, although things have not been that rosy between the Neymar and Mbappe, all what is there is just about fighting for supremacy, who is more popular or not. And that alone, I see, will not help the team. But if they can forget about what is happening, the infighting between them,
Don't
I
let
will.
us also forget our home base, Remo Stars, was defeated yesterday. Honestly, it wasn't a good story at all. But we must
Coming
also talk
back
about
to
it. Coming back home,
coming
they
back
didn't do
home
well
and
in the
coming
CAF
back to
Champions
Africa,
League, CAF
Remo
Confederations Cup.
Star and Fat Rabbit of
Yes,
Morocco.
of Morocco. That was
I didn't
Northern
expect Remo
Africa.
Star to lose that match, because to me, Remo Star going all the way from Ogun State to Morocco to go and play a 1-1 draw. I expected them to have come back home and solidified
That 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
In victory of
Even
like
if
probably
playing a
1-0 in favor
0-0,
of them or
playing a 0-0, which would have given them
an edge
an
to an extra
edge,
time
not even extra time.
or penalty
It
shootout.
won't give them a penalty because they played 1-1.
1-1, yes,
So an
automatically go against away goal.
away goals
Yes,
that they
yes,
got will have seen them through.
exactly.
That didn't happen, and so disappointing. Let's look at it. We have 4 teams: Remo Stars
Kwara
and Kwara
United,
United playing the
Rivers
Confederations
United,
Cup, and Rivers United and Plateau
Plateau
United
United.
playing the Champions League. Rivers United lost 1-0, but courtesy of their first match, which they won 3-0, they qualified on the 3-1 aggregate. Remo Stars won. Kwara United won 1-0
Mm,
away, courtesy of their first 3-0 win.
exactly.
So that alone have given them hope. But that is still not what I want, because presently the Nigerian Football Federation General Assembly was supposed to come up on the 30th of this month. Right now, we have so many contenders for the position of the president of the NFF. And behold, somebody went to court, and the court have put it an injunction that the election should not hold on the 30th of September. Why are we drawing ourselves back? Why are we always, every little thing we run to court? Even in politics, when you lose, you don't want to accept defeat. You run to court. Why must we always use the court to thwart everything
That's
we are
and on
doing?
that note, I said
Is
Nigerians should always
we should
look for
just
way forward and
we
let's
should have
reharmonize
that spirit
ourselves.
of
And
you
let's even
win
forget
or
the issue
you
of
lost,
nepotism
not
at this
a
point
thing
in
of
time.
I must always win or I must always. If the office of the NFF is not that lucrative, why should people be fighting to the extent of going to court? It
That
doesn't
means
portray us.
it's a money
Is
making
the
office.
office, so that's why everybody is fighting to be there. And when they get there, they misbehave, and so the extent that simple contract for jerseys and kits, they mess it up.
Hmm. And that also takes me to tennis. Roger
Roger
Federer,
Federer over the
at age
week
of 41,
have
saying bye-bye to
tennis.
tennis
Well,
from
somebody
Switzerland.
that have played
It's
tennis
an icon.
for the past
It's
24
an
years,
hero.
playing over 1,500 matches
Wow.
in the period of 24
That
years,
is massive.
which have taken him to the top of the ATP world ranking
Wow. Wow.
for
Wow.
2-3 consecutive times. He has won all the tennis open that is there. So nothing much for him again. And like he said
Mm.
in his retired speech, that he owns his body. He knows how he's
The
feeling
immune
right
system,
inside him.
yes.
It is
At
only
41, it's
it's
not a
only
joke.
down here that
It's
we
not a
don't
joke. At 41.
take the rhythm of our body system into consideration.
Exactly.
This is somebody that have been in the system, played for 24 years, and today he feels that his system is not as strong as it
As
is.
that.
So he feels he should bow out when the ovation is still
He's
loud.
still, and that
And
also
that's
takes
what he
me.
did on
Yes,
Thursday by
on this I said
announcing his
kudos to
retirement.
you. We sincerely
And
appreciate
to
you for what you've done so
Roger
far,
Federer,
for your
we say
partners in tennis.
congratulations for
Congratulations on your
the
retirement.
name and everything you put into the
Yes, yes. And on
build-up
that
of
note,
Premiership.
that also takes me to world of boxing. Tyson Fury and our own Anthony Joshua.
Tyson Fury, Tony Joshua, and like before the loss
Yes.
to Usyk, Tyson Fury told Joshua that he's the only one that can train him for him to win that match. That he doesn't see him win, and it comes to true. Tyson Fury is one of the boxers that have not lost any fight. Despite the fact that he went into depression, surrendered his belts
By himself.
by himself, almost ran mad, was rehabilitated, was sent to the rehab, and he got himself back. And from there, he returned back. Despite the fact that when he was during those depression period, his license was seized, that he can't fight again. But he still overcome it, and today he's still the WBC heavyweight champion.
And believe you me, Anthony
You
Joshua
can't
have
take it
said
from him. And like
that
Anthony
he is
Joshua
ready
came on,
again
yeah, Anthony,
for the battle.
he is the one that challenged Joshua, and now Joshua have come up to accept the challenge. So we are looking forward to December to see what will happen. And that
We are
match
looking
alone
forward on December.
will
In
decide
December,
who is
rather,
the heavyweight
to see
in
what will
England.
happen
Yes,
between
Anthony
Anthony Joshua
and
and Tyson Fury. And on this note, I say thank you to everybody watching us. We sincerely appreciate you for your time, for everything you've left behind to partake and participate in this program. For your advertisement and followership, please call this number on your screen 08168 476778, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Newsbuster NGTV. It's your channel, our channels. United we stand, divided we fall. We remain one Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so
We
much for
believe next
having me.
time we will call on you. We
I will
quickly
always be
oblige.
here to
We
say what
sincerely
we knows how
appreciate
to
you.
do best.
Honestly, on behalf of the entire management, we say thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
for
all
having
your
me.
time, for the effort you've put in place to make sure that you are being here all the way from Badagry. It isn't easy.
Thank you
Sincerely,
so
I
much.
commend you. I
Thank you
commend
so
you.
much.
And on this note, I say thank you to everyone, and we shall be dropping to today's episode. Bye for now till we meet next week.